Hey everyone, and welcome back to DRT. And today we are talking about physical media versus digital. Now, this is a topic that has been highly covered, highly spoken about, but we need to talk about this because this is something that is impacting our gaming lives right now. And the whole transition going from physical to digital is going to be quite problematic for us, I feel, in the future. So me and Graham are going to just have a little chat, see what's going on, and rage. Old man
Nah,
shouts at Cloud.
let's show it, Cloud. Cloud, you're not as good as Barrett.
The whole thing around the whole digital and physical space has really been quite problematic over the past. Well, it's becoming more and more prevalent as time goes on, and it's really going to start impacting us very soon. There has been loads of things popping up left, right, and center. There's been a few articles that we really need to look at and talk about here, mainly being this whole thing about ownership of games and why recently Ubisoft said we need to get comfortable with not owning games and why that
You
might be
will
a
own
problem.
nothing and be happy.
Yes, it does feel a bit like that. And it just, I don't know about you, but it just irritates the hell out of me.
Like digital's definitely got its pros and its cons. Like there's a lot of good things I'd say about digital, but the fact that it should always be an option between either physical or digital. It should never just be it's only digital and then that's it. Like there should always be a case of like you can own it physically if you want, or you can own it digitally if you want. There's no reason for like there are reasons I suppose a game might release digitally only because a publisher might not have fucking the funds or the means to physically distribute the game, so they might want to release digitally first. Fair enough, that's all fine and well, but like to make it solely only on digital in a fucking crumbling market where fucking everything's shutting down, like the 3DS and the Wii U, like they were online for what 10 what 15 years, but like that's all that gone now. So like, are you buying a game now for it to be gone in 15 years time when your fucking Xbox or your PlayStation fucking breaks?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of the things that really is kind of bugging me a lot because you're seeing this now as these sort of digital stores are closing down. Games are basically being lost forever. We started seeing it on the Wii. With a lot of these like remake classics that they put on there as digital only, and they get lost to the sands of time. Obviously, we were talking about, we've also covered on the channel the whole thing with the completionist collecting all the, making sure he's downloading all the games from the 3DS and all that kind of stuff. I know, but he did. And there's people out there trying to preserve these games and things like that. And this is where I personally feel physical will always win and should always be an option. You've got that physical game, you've got that tangible piece in your hands, you've got that one thing that, nobody can mess with, nobody can change, nobody can break, nobody can mess anything up with. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like now, if you're downloading a game, who's to say that that's even going to be there in 10-15 years time? You want to play your game with your mate, you've been, potentially you've bought this game, you've been playing it for 10 years online, and then all of a sudden they take the store down.
Mm,
Like, what are you going to do? That game's gone
mm.
forever then.
But it's like you're saying with like things changing and stuff like that, like you said before the call. Like you might play a game this year, society and what's acceptable might change in 5 years' time. In that 5 year gap, you might have deleted it and be like, "Oh, I'm going to download this again," and you're going to suddenly be like, "Oh, why is the main character this thing now? Why is it this person now? What's changed in the game?" Because you see it, like we said before, we like things on Netflix, things on Disney, fucking things we watched in the past that were funny are like changing now because what's deemed acceptable or what other people are deeming as funny are like changing everything where people aren't looking. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And that is exactly right. I mean, I know recently I've been looking at Disney as a main thing,
Mm.
and like some of the things that they've been changing recently has been insane. One of the first things that popped into my mind was they actually changed Lilo and Stitch. They changed where the little girl crawls into the oven to hide, and they were like, oh no, oh, people might think that that's acceptable or whatever, so they changed it to her hiding under a table with a pizza box. It's something
Mm.
small, but things like that again and changed all of the time. And licensing for music obviously is also a big thing. A lot of these licenses sort of lapse and I'm not paying for that anymore, so they'll just change it on the fly. And that, I don't know. Like I said, it just kind of takes away from that original experience that the game was made for, basically, and I find it really really irritating in that
Aye.
respect.
Oh, you're right, aye. But it's fucking ridiculous because it should always be a case that you can either buy it digitally or buy it physically. Like the recent thing now is release the game digitally for like 6 months, or even keep the game in fucking beta for a year, and then they'll be like, "Oh well, now we think it's finished. Now we might release it, but we'll see." Like that seems to be happening an awful lot.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well, is obviously they're selling these games, well, in the physical form at least anyway, and it's not the complete game. Like we've obviously ranted about this before on the podcast and on here, and we've talked about it where you'll get this brand new game and it'll be like, oh, fantastic, and then there's like a day one update, a day one patch, and you're waiting 5 hours to play your game because only half of the game is actually on the disc, which is completely broken, and then they decide to upload the rest onto the online. And this also is another aspect of what worries me about physical right now. You look back, like I enjoy going back and playing like PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, and I go back and play them, and they're the complete game. They are exactly what it is. Don't get me wrong, some you get the occasional one that's a bit broken or a bit glitchy or whatever, but ultimately the game is there. Like nothing is ever going to take that away. You've got the game disc and you go. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now I worry for kids in the future that may still want to collect physical, may still want to do that. They buy a Nintendo Switch game, they buy a PlayStation 5 game, and it's like, oh, there's only half the thing on here and the store's been taken down now, so now all I've got is a disc with a broken game.
Oh, like I think that the whole thing started with like digital pre-order bonuses, because remember back in the day, you used to be super hyped that your game was coming out, and then there'd be like, oh, you get a day one, you get this like cool skin, or you get this like extra level or whatever. You'd be like, ooh. But like they would put a section of the finished game behind an extra, like either day one or an extra tenner. And I think it's kind of all just went downhill for there. It's went for part of a game to whole sections of a game to fucking DLC. Because remember when DLC used to buy like a DLC pass for like 15 quid, and it would be like 3 different things over the course of like a year. Whereas now it's like, it's 50 quid for this one, and then it's 50 quid for this one, and it's like only like fucking 2 hours worth of fucking content.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that was going to be one of my other little things that I wanted to talk about here, was the fact that when you used to buy games back in the day, they used to come packed with like loads of goodies, loads of different things. You buy like a game and there'd be like a map and there'd be stickers and there'd be this and there'd be that. And over time, especially like you said, as all this digital content started coming in and you buy these passes and you do all these things, that slowly started to die. And I found that I find that really just, it ruins the experience, because how many times as a kid did you buy a game and like just read the manual over and over and over, and
sitting on the bus
all
reading
this...
the back of the box top to bottom as many times as it took you to get fucking home to the bus stop to
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I'm saying. I feel like that is slowly becoming a lost art within gaming. It was something that was so special. But that I mean, just as a little side thing to that though, that's what I like about indie companies. You look at what you've just grabbed recently with Unmetal, like all the little gifts and goodies and all the bits, and the game is complete on there.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's that's one of the things that indie companies are doing right. But these big AAA studios are just going down this digital route, and it's just ruining it. One of the games that recently came out was you've been playing Alan Wake 2. And even though it sold, they are still not doing great. They haven't turned a profit on that game, and I don't know what the exact sales figures are, but there was a recent entry, an article put out there describing and saying like, actually they're not actually making money on this game, and even though it's the company Remedy have done really well to sell this game and it's their biggest selling games, they're struggling to actually make a profit on this game. And I'm just wondering, like, why is that? Is it because people it's not in people's faces, people are not interested in digital? Because I'd like to think that that's what it is. People don't want to play this game. I know that's why I haven't picked it up. I want a physical copy of this game, and I'm not preparing to do that. Because say this doesn't do very well now, and they go, "Oh, let's just delete it." You've got nothing.
The thing with Alan Wake 2, and this is for me, like me personally. Now, I got that digitally, knowing there was a physical edition coming out. But the only reason I bought it was because it was on offer, and I'd only just got my PlayStation 5 and wanted a game to play. So like I would have, had I had a PlayStation for ages, like, and even Alan Wake 2 wasn't even really on my radar until it started getting nominated for all these fucking bullshit prizes at the end of last year. But like, I would have happily held out for a physical edition had I no been just wanting a game to play on my new console. But like, I don't know sales numbers wise anyway, because I know it's been nominated for loads of stuff, and it is a good game. It's a solid game, but I don't know. Like, I can't foresee why it being digital would be a reason for its low sales, because, like I said, how I felt was it wasn't really on my radar. I knew it was coming out. I hadn't really seen much yet. It wasn't really coming up in anything. It wasn't being spoken about or anything like that. It's good, but there's loads of games that come out every fucking year that nobody knows about because they're no advertised or no fucking marketed properly, anything like that. I don't know if the digital aspect's got anything to do with it, but knowing fine well, if they said there's going to be a physical edition coming out soon, then I'd be like, aye, alright. Because that annoyed me recently because I got fucking Blasphemous 2 on the Switch, and I did get it physical, but like literally the day I bought it physically and it arrived, they announced the fucking collector's edition for it. I was like, fuck's sake. But you know, like, had I known this was coming out, I would have probably have held off or bought it cheaper online or what, or off his Steam or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's definitely something to be said about that, and collector's editions, and there's a whole other rant we could go off about, like limited run games, for example, where they actually, yeah, no, we're not going to go into that tangent right now, but definitely there is something to be said about the fact that, like, you know, games being sold exclusively.
Like another thing as well is, sorry now, but like, you know, there's one episode of The Simpsons you can't get, it's nowhere, you can't find it anymore. Do you know the episode with Michael Jackson at? So like, say now there's a fucking smashing game that comes out, and you're like, God, this game is amazing, and it's got some person in it who does like some fucking voice acting in it, and then you play the game like, oh, that was amazing, and then the year later you forgot about the game, and it's like, this guy has been accused of doing X with X, and they're no fucking nice and meh meh meh, and then they decide to fucking either change everything entirely, or they just erase it for history, like the whole Vinnie Mac thing. Oh man, I am 100% going to play No Mercy now as Vinnie Mac all the way, but because you can't take him out, you can't take that off me. But you know what I mean?
No,
like
that right there is my point, though. You've literally just proven my point. At the moment, WWE is trying to erase someone from their history, whereas you go back, you play the game, nothing's erased. It's all there. It's all there, and you absolutely cannot get rid of it. And this is what I'm saying. It's the same with a lot of music and bits and pieces like that. You just can't erase it all.
He was in WWE at some point. Remember that. I don't know what he done or what he's been accused of, but here comes the pain, Brock Lesnar. You can't take that off me.
So let's just say that we're definitely fans of physical. There's a reason why we collect video games. There's a reason why we have an abundance of it. But we want to know what your thoughts are on this. Are you going for the full, you know, sort of digital future, or are you like us old men who want to like hold on to our games and, you know, do all that kind of stuff? Because there is something to be said about keeping physical and being a physical collector of games and playing things physically, because you just, especially the older games, they're all just there. You know, they're all just there.
But like you said, like I can put in any one of these older games, like cartridge based ones, and then just play the game. That's it. Like if I put in any of the Wii U games, they're all needing updated. If I put in any of the fucking PlayStation 4 games or whatever they're over there, like all of them are going to need some kind of updating. If my PlayStation 4 broke, I would need to update all of them again. And
you
it's
would.
The same with the 360.
Absolutely. So let us know down in the comments. And I just want to thank everyone for watching this, and see you on the next one.
Doodle pip.
Bye!